Although the Nintendo Switch isn't getting a ton of exclusives like it did during the first 2 years of its launch, nothing has stopped it from selling like crazy. Despite the lack of big exclusives in the past few months, the Switch is scheduled to receive full, timed, and console exclusives in 2021 and beyond. In this video, we take a look at 15 of those. A quick note before we move forward. Please consider subscribing and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. And while you're at it, please click like if you enjoyed this video. It really helps us out. With that out of the way, let's begin. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. We haven't seen anything of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's as of yet unnamed sequel since we first saw it in 2019. However, the developer team is working hard on it. Last year, series producer AJ Aonuma confirmed that work is progressing on the game. Quote, regarding the sequel, in order to make the vast world you enjoyed exploring in the original game even more impressive, the team is working hard on its development, so you'll have to wait a bit longer before we can provide more updates. While this doesn't necessarily narrow down the release window, it seems to indicate that the sequel is farther off than initially believed. Ghosts 'n Goblins Resurrection. One of the original Tough as Nails video games was Capcom's Ghosts 'n Goblins. The game saw you fight through the undead as kindly Knight Arthur against legions of various monsters. The series has continued on in some form or another with sequels such as Ghouls 'n Ghosts and a variety of remakes throughout the years. Now it's time for Arthur to suit up once more. As announced at the Game Awards 2020, a new entry in the franchise will come this month as Ghosts 'n Goblins Resurrection. The game is referred to as a reboot and includes a new storybook-like look and presentation. Metroid Prime 4. Nothing is known except a logo teaser, but at the very least we know that the game is in development. Metroid Prime 4 rebooted development in early 2019 when Nintendo handed the project over to Retro Studios, developers of the original Metroid Prime trilogy. There's no telling how long it'll be before we see anything from the game, but Retro have been recruiting heavily over the last couple of years as development on the game ramps up. Bayonetta 3. Just like Metroid Prime 4, there are hardly any updates on Bayonetta 3. However, back in January, the developer stated that development on the game is progressing smoothly. At this point, given how many times Platinum Games have given assurances about Bayonetta 3's development going well, all we can do is take their word. Hopefully, development has progressed enough that it won't be too long before we actually get to see the game in action, and perhaps even learn more about when it actually launches. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Back in 2017, Atlus announced Shin Megami Tensei 5 and confirmed the RPG as an exclusive for the Nintendo Switch, but there's been nothing but radio silence on that front from them since then. Early on in 2018, Atlus developed that the game had entered full-scale production, but the game is confirmed for release this year. In the game's trailer, it showcased that the world is crumbling and chaos is overtaking everything. Along with numerous demons, the heroes seem like they'll make a contract of sorts, perhaps to fight back. It's hard to say what the story is at this point, but if the footage was all in-game, then Shin Megami Tensei 5 is shaping up very well. No More Heroes 3. If the reveal trailer for the upcoming No More Heroes 3 didn't clue you into the fact that director Suda51 loves him some pop culture references, well, buckle in, because he's got all kinds of pop culture ideas to inject into this action game. Specifically, he's got a classic franchise that he looks at as inspiration for the as-of-now unrevealed plot of the game. In an interview with GameByte, Suda talked about various aspects of the game. When asked to describe the overall concept of the game, he said that it was a mix of Rocky III and Thanos-level enemies in a way that only he can. Quote, 3 words. These are more 3 concepts, but Thanos-level enemies would be number 1, full armor would be number 2, and for 3, okay, I can't say that. What do I talk about? Rocky III. Let's go with Rocky III. If you aren't familiar with the Rocky franchise, the third film is where the world heavyweight champion boxer Rocky gets beaten by a young up-and-comer and must train with an old rival to defeat his foe. Mix that with some Thanos-type enemies, and we probably have an idea of where this is going, taking into account that Suda is being serious and not just joking around. Well, either way, it's sure to be a wild ride. Axiom Verge 2. Though the indie space has been dominated by excellent Metroidvania releases this past decade, to this day, 2015's excellent Metroid-inspired Axiom Verge remains one of the best recent Metroidvania titles. A wait for its sequel has been long and insufferable, but finally it's coming out in 2021. Axiom Verge 2 will feature new characters, new abilities, and of course, new mechanics to go along with all of that. Disgaea 6: Defiance of Destiny. Nippon Ichi Software's Disgaea franchise might not be the most high-profile role-playing series out there, but across multiple installments and a very particular blend of strategy gameplay mechanics, it's garnered a solid fanbase for itself. Disgaea 6 breaks from tradition by featuring fully 3D visuals, new mechanics like super reincarnation, and much more. You even have options like auto, retry, and replay to make battles less punishing. Of course, if you want to grind all the way to level 9,999, then you can do so and go even further beyond. Disgaea 6: Defiance of Destiny is an exclusive for Nintendo Switch in the West for now. Bravely Default 2. Bravely Default 2 is a sequel to the first game, following a new band of heroes as they adventure to find the Four Crystals. The characters in question are Seth, a sailor, Gloria, a princess of a lost kingdom, Adele, a mercenary, and Elvis, a traveling scholar. Much like previous iterations, the battle system allows players to either attack or hang back till the moment arises. Bravely Default 2 is due for the Switch this month. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. In the game, Mario essentially joins forces with Bowser Jr. in a new environment and must stop Bowser, who's become large and even more in charge, from destroying everything. The new world appears to be a large, free-roam 3D level with different challenges and puzzles. Bowser Jr. follows Mario throughout, stomping on foes and painting different sections to unlock items. How this new Calamity version of Bowser is unlocked remains to be seen, but it seems that Mario will battle him in his own giant form. New Pokemon Snap. The N64 classic Pokemon Snap is probably one of the most beloved non-mainline games in the entire series, to the point that many love it more than most of the mainline games. Fans have been asking for a sequel to it for years now, but as Game Freak stated recently, they haven't been able to find, quote, a very unique twist for how to bring it back up until now. Well, it looks like they finally found that twist. New Pokemon Snap has the player in the role of a photographer who works with Professor Mirror to snap shots of Pokemon in the Lintel region. They're all over the place, some in more sneaky locations than others, and one may have to use Fluff Fruit to draw them out. Professor Mirror will score photos, which goes towards completing one's photodex. To help get around in the Lintel region is the new self-driving Neo 1. It will take players through different paths as they focus on the photography part. Over time, you may discover the Illumina phenomenon, which makes Pokemon and vegetation glow. Naturally, it's your job to photograph it. Hollow Knight Silksong. When Team Cherry teased its Hollow Knight adventure focused on Hornet, the beloved princess of Hallownest, many of us expected another update. At best, it would be paid DLC for the main game. As it turns out, Hollow Knight Silksong is an entirely new game, a sequel with a brand new kingdom to explore. Silksong sees Hornet captured and taken to a new land. Her goal is to ascend to the peak and unravel the mysteries of the world, taking on new foes and meeting new allies along the way. Hornet has her own acrobatic fighting style, which enables her to zip back and forth across the screen while attacking enemies. Over 150 new foes, an orchestral score by Christopher Larkin, new quests, and much more await. There will even be Silk Soul mode that's available after the game is finished, and spins it into, quote, a unique, challenging experience. Hollow Knight Silksong is currently in development for Nintendo Switch and PC. Detective Pikachu. 3DS's Detective Pikachu was a surprisingly good game, and the movie based on the game, which released recently, was surprisingly good as well. The Pokemon Company clearly sees value in that brand, and is looking to expand it even further. The Pokemon Company announced a new Detective Pikachu game for the Nintendo Switch. The exact nature of the game is a bit of a mystery though, and the Pokemon Company president and CEO was particularly vague about it. We know that it's going to conclude the 3DS's game's story, which ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, but whether it's a full-fledged sequel or an expanded re-release is unknown as of yet. Monster Hunter Rise. As the rumors suggested, a new Monster Hunter was announced for Nintendo Switch. Monster Hunter Rise is set to release on March 26, 2021. Along with a new setting, characters, and monsters, Monster Hunter Rise also features some new mechanics. The Fairy Claw, as rumors call it, allow for grappling even in mid-air to reach far-off spots. You can also clamber up walls and run along them. Also, the game is indeed running on RE Engine. While the visuals may not be as detailed as Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise does offer some other benefits. Loading times and transitions between areas, for instance, are completely absent. Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin. If you're not familiar, Monster Hunter Stories was a narrative-driven RPG with turn-based combat that spun off from the main Monster Hunter series and released for the 3DS. The upcoming sequel looks set to follow in that vein, except with significantly better production values, if the reveal trailer is anything to go by. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.